having a home defense plan. Reading through a bunch of articles and seeing a lot of articles about people getting basically civil unrest, right? People getting aggravated by the state of affairs right now, and I'm also reading some articles about some cities thinking about releasing prisoners and inmates. So I figured I'd jump on for a few minutes here and just discuss the importance of having a home defense plan. It's extremely important, guys. If you don't have something in place, it's more important now than ever to have a home defense plan. Have a plan with your family about how you're going to function if there is an incident. I think my main concern right now would be a home invasion and someone coming into the home. So making sure your doors are locked, making sure that the exterior of your property is illuminated. If there's ever any overgrown shrubs or bushes around the outside of your premise, maybe cleaning those up now since you have some time to spend at home and make it easy for you to see around the exterior of your home and have well lit up areas so you can see if anyone is on your property. If you have a dog and the dog starts barking in the middle of the night or even during the day when you're home now during the day, that should alert you. I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, be quiet, just a dog barking again," but one of those times it can actually be something. So listening to the dog barking and checking on your property. Exterior cameras can be a great help in that area and seeing if someone has entered your property. A lot of times these exterior cameras are wireless and they can even send you an alert when there's motion detected on a certain perimeter around your house. So those are things that you should definitely check into. If you guys have any questions, by the way, while I'm on, feel free to pop on and just put them in the comments below, and it will come across my screen here. But one of the big things that the reason why I wanted to start this live chat today is I'm going to show you guys that there's some articles out here that are a little bit concerning, and one of the big articles that's concerning to me is this one right here. This is talking about the releasing of prisoners. And if you read down here in the second line, it says the debate over whether to release prisoners from Iran's move on Tuesday to free some 85,000 inmates. 85,000 inmates were released in Iran, right? Then we look at the UK is likewise thinking of the similar measures, but I know in the past few hours, LA has released some prisoners, and I know New York is already doing so. And New York actually has the bail reform in place right now, right? Where 90% of crimes, they're just releasing right back out onto the street. So the people that are inside of our prisons right now, especially in New York, are murderers, rapists, people that we don't want out on the street. So this is very concerning. So the importance of having a home defense plan. Lancier Media, how are you? Thank you for popping online. I'm going to put your question right down here. So their question is, favorite go-to home defense weapon and why? Yeah, well, that's a good question. So if you're really proficient with a handgun, the handgun is always good to have and have on you at all times. So I religiously carry it everywhere I go. I'm home sitting on the couch watching a movie, it's on me. I'm going to the bathroom, it's right next to me. I'm taking a shower, it's my belt, my gun is right outside. It's always next to me, easily accessible. A lot of people have this false sense of security of I've got my firearm, it's in a safe someplace, but the reality is how quickly can you access that firearm and how quickly can you get to it. But for home defense, a great option is a shotgun. With double O book defensive rounds, double O buck will give you a nice little spread so that you don't have to be so accurate with your shot, and it's kind of a universal sound of that racking of that shotgun, I think, to the person standing on the other side of the door lets them know that they probably don't want to come through that door. It's also a shotgun I think is great. I've taught my daughter since she's been able to hold a shotgun, how to handle it properly. And what I'll do for younger kids or younger women that may not be able to hold on to the force of that shotgun going off is actually teach them how to get into a room, down on the ground, and actually put their body against a corner of a wall and put the back of the shotgun into the wall, and then you just hold that weapon up on an angle going toward the doorway. Now, here's some important factors. When I was doing this, I would have my daughter test out the distance in my home of a corner of a wall into the different bedrooms and rooms that she might be in. And then we went out to the range and mock set up that area and the distance, and then had her firing. I'd have her go against a tree, get down on the ground, fire that weapon so she knows what it's going to sound like, what it's going to feel like, and have that target that same distance from the corner of the wall to the doorway. I would have that measured out at the range, and so she would be able to see what the spread would be of those pellets. And another big important factor to remember, guys, is that whatever ammo you use, every wad in a double buck, one from Federal, might spread a little bit differently than one from Winchester. So if you're going to use a round inside of your home, look at the spray and the distance of those rounds, and then stick to that ammunition so that you know it's going to be the same approximate spray when you're at home and if you have to use it. But I would have her actually test fire the weapon and know how it fires and how it's going to cycle, how she's going to need to rack that gun, and having that solid surface behind allowed that round to go through, allowed the rack to happen easily. But we had a home defense plan. If anybody came into the home and she had to access the shotgun, where would she go? How would she sit? How would she deploy that weapon? And if anyone came into the doorway, and how would she engage that threat? So it's an important factor to think about. It's important information for you guys to discuss with your family. With the release of all of these news articles about inmates possibly getting released, and not only the inmates, but there's a lot of start of civil unrest happening right now. So just making sure you have a plan with your family. If one of you is going out to the store or running to run a quick errand and the family's home and something happens, well, what is the plan for the family? Everyone should have a job and a role. And if you have 4 people in the family, 4 people have roles, and one person leaves, that role of that person needs to defer to somebody else. So everyone can kind of know what their function is and what they're exactly supposed to do. It's something we discuss in our home invasion seminar and webinar, and I've actually had a lot of requests during this time to hold another home invasion webinar. So we are going to be putting that on our schedule to happen probably within the next week or so. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. If you're watching live, thank you for joining us. Feel free to put a comment below if you have a question. Right now we're online and we're discussing having a home defense plan. So if you have a home defense plan, let me know. If you don't and you have questions for me, feel free to put them in the comments below and they'll come across my screen. And one of the first questions we have was about what's the go-to home defense weapon and why. So we discussed a little bit about a handgun, and we discussed about using a shotgun. Now, if you don't have a firearm inside of your home, it's going to be very hard to get any at this point, and ammunition is running scarce. I'm getting a lot of calls and messages from friends saying that they can't even find 9mm, right? So if you haven't purchased it already and you don't have it already in a safe place in your home, it's probably hard to come by right now. So here's an option for you. We promote these T4E line of weapons, right? These are made for force-on-force training. These T4E line of weapons, they have the same weight, feel as a real firearm. This is a Walther PPQ, fully licensed. Umarex owns Walther Firearms, and Umarex makes this weapon. So it's an exact replica of the PPQ. This goes into the bottom of the weapon, and you can rack, and it fires off of CO2. Now, the beauty of this, right, because it's used for force-on-force, this is a replacement for simunition rounds. Simunition rounds are used in law enforcement training, is that this shoots out a .43 caliber rubber ball, paintball, dust ball, or pepper ball, right? So anyone comes inside of your home and you start nailing them with these things, they're going to feel some pretty serious feed pain back, and they're not going to think in the moment whether that was a real gun or not, number one. 2, the pepper balls can incapacitate the person momentarily so that you can go into combatives or egress out of the home or come up with your next plan of action. But this is an option for you. If you are interested in purchasing these weapons, please put them in the comments below, message us through our social media channels, or you can go onto our website, t4survival.com. There you can fill out a contact us form or start a live chat with myself, Scott, or Mike, and let us know you're interested in getting this for home defense or to practice with. and we'll get you more information. Now we have a lot of options of these as well. There's a M&P Smith & Wesson option. There's a similar Glock option. So there's a lot of different styles of weapons, and they also offer rifles, shotguns, and so there's lots of great things that we can get you information on that you'll be able to use inside of the home. Let's see what some of the questions here. Yeah, it's true. So Mike is on, and he's saying it doesn't matter what you like if you don't train with it. Train to manipulate the weapon of choice under stress. If you do not train with it, it can be taken from you and be used against you, right? So it's important that if you're going to get this weapon or any weapon that you train with it, right? And being able to put yourself under a little bit of stress and trying to see how you could function under that stress and manipulate the weapon. When you have that adrenaline dump, gross motor skills kind of go out the window. So being able to practice and train is extremely important. Which brings me to the segue of T4 Survival Camp. We have a camp planned up for May. We have a couple spots left open if you're interested in joining us. You're secluded up in the Northwoods of Maine. It's a very small group. In the month of May, we actually take over the whole resort, so it's only us there. So if you're interested in coming up, again, there's no more than 10 people. So we're following the recommendations of what is being told to us, plus all the training is outdoors, which the CDC is actually pushing people to be outdoors because less of a spread of this virus. But we're hoping this is all cleared up by May anyway. But if you're interested in joining us and getting some additional training, I highly encourage you to check out the T4 Survival Camp. You can find out information on that on our website, t4survival.com/camp 2020. May camp is very important, guys, with everything that's going on. I highly suggest that you get out there and you start training. And that's what this camp is made for, is for the civilian that wants to have that confidence carry that firearm. So I'm going to leave you with this, guys. Make sure that you're training. Make sure that you have a family self-defense home defense plan for inside the home and outside the home. If you have questions on any of this, let us know. Put them in the comments. If you're watching this live stream afterwards, after it's recorded, feel free to put the comments in below. We'll get back to you and answer any questions that are posted. I want to leave you with one more thing because I've had people saying that they're going to the ammo store and they're buying ball rounds of ammo just so that they have some ammo. And you have to know the penetration of those rounds. Those ball rounds are going to continue to travel for a very long distance. So you take a 9mm or 40 ball round and you shoot that inside of a home, it's going to go through several walls and maybe even outside into a neighbor's home before that stops. So using a ball round for self-defense, I understand the importance of being able to defend yourself and your family, but you have to know the penetration of that round and what's the backdrop between where you're firing that round and where it's going to go. Same thing goes for shotgun and every other round of ammo. I've even heard of people using 223 rounds in a rifle for home defense, which is very concerning. So anyway, make sure you're knowledgeable, make sure you're training, make sure you have the proper information. T4 Survival, training for surviving the fight of your life. We're going to do a bunch of these live streams, guys, over the next couple of days. And, of course, Sunday night, you could join us live for our live stream. It happens every Sunday. We sometimes have special guests on. Sometimes we talk about reviews of products. And we always talk about our tactical item, an item that looks really cool, but probably something that realistically you wouldn't want to buy and really wouldn't want to carry, but it looks kind of cool. So we'll bring that up this Sunday as well. If you guys have questions between now and then, send them to us. Put them in the comments below. Go to our website, start a chat. On behalf of Scott and Mike that couldn't join me right now, thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you Sunday night for our live stream. Remember, T4 Survival, training for surviving the fight of your life. I'll see you soon.